Welcome everyone to the Prescott BIA Board of Management meeting for June 11th, 2024. We'll get started. I'll call the meeting to order at 5:29. First, approval of the agenda. Can I have a mover of the agenda? Jeannie, and a seconder? Seconder, Ruth? All in favor? Carried. Are there any declarations of interest this evening? No, seeing none, move along. We do have a delegation presentation tonight from Sandra Lawn. And just respectfully, Sandra, I would remind you that we have a 10-minute time limit. And at the 8-minute mark, I could raise my hand so that you know, and you can wrap up your presentation at that time. So would you like to begin?
Unfortunately, Justin wasn't able to put it up on the screen because he didn't get it in time. I do have it on a stick if that would be any help. Probably not. Don't want to interfere. But anyway, I will send it out to each of you afterwards so that you have it on paper. I'm entitling my presentation Downtown Prescott, BIA for the Future. And I start off with a picture of the rapids and the fact that Prescott is here because of those mighty rapids on the upper St. Lawrence. I'm not going to spend very much time because I know that I will get cut off before I know it. And then I've got, and you'll get a copy of these as well, some historic pictures of how the downtown sort of developed and didn't develop, then decayed in a very, and you're going to love these when you get them because they show what the BIA looked like when my husband and my little girls moved here to Prescott, and I wanted to get the heck out of here. And because I don't want people to be discouraged, because it does take time to do the kinds of things that you have volunteered to do as part of the BIA. In the beginning, our downtown was Water Street. And it was because of the tall ships and the rapids and all of the things that were happening all around us, the loyalists coming into the area. And there's a couple of really lovely pictures that you're going to get eventually or as soon as I get home. And it was about the Victorian influence, because that is one of the major things now about our downtown, the Victorian influence. Like Water Street was a plain, ordinary place where a lot of people, well, not a lot of people, a few people did imbibe a bit now and then. And there was also a picture here of the town hall. And I think that these were the kinds of this was the kind of blow that came to downtown Prescott. And in the early days, I've also made a list of the variety of things that happened, and including Organization Hope, cleaning up the river, community self-study, buckets full of brochures from people, town hall meetings, public participation, a new official plan, new zoning bylaws, and then the establishment of a BIA. Also, we have the Norwich Plan and the Neighborhood Improvement Plan. And all these influences were coming down and helping and supporting historic downtown Prescott. There's also a picture there showing the results of all of the effort that went into getting the waterfront the way it is now, our south coast of Canada. And also, I know some of you might like this. I don't know if you will or not. But in 2011, the alarms were really, really sounding for historic downtown Prescott. And there's some shots here. Some of you weren't here at that time, but there's a picture of boomers There's a picture of Bobby's on the corner, and there's a big picture of pizza. It is too bad that he wasn't able to get it up on the screen quickly enough. Also, the BIA became very re-energized in 2012. Like the idea that it was history, we had Loyalist Days, we had all of these other things. And one of the things, some of you know that I'm forever quoting the Mohawks, particularly the Haudenosaunee, and the fact that cooperation is the way to survive. And the wonderful thing was the other day to get, and I'll leave you with each with a copy of it if I can find it, from the Ottawa Citizen, a full page practically from Su-Ling Ching, who used to, if she doesn't all still, live in Prescott. And they talking about downtown Ottawa and all of the things that she was talking about are the same kinds of things that I'm hopefully making reference to tonight. And that is that cooperation being the way to survive. And then the heading of the next slide is Evolution to 2024. And in 1986, or whenever it was, the town passed a bylaw that said that the BIA no longer had its own procedural bylaw, that we had to follow the procedures of town council. In other words, you would be here with committee of the whole and committees and all that sort of thing, whereas the BIA had a very credible bylaw prior to that. So that, then the action plan, and I bring this here because at one time, your chair loved this document. And she went by it and she talked about these 4 pillars in the document. And it's going to be very easy for me to send this to you as well. And in this document, what she liked the second best is this action plan summary. And you'll each get a copy of that when I send you the presentation. And there's immediate, short-term, mid-term, and long-term. And I made a heading here, 2012 to 2024 and beyond, and it still works. I don't know if you've read it lately, Madam Chair, but it still works. It still applies to all the challenges that you folks have. And including immediate, the things that can be done immediately, the things that are short-term, and some of them have been accomplished. Some of them are midterm, and some of them are long-term. Like Rome was not built in a day. But, and then that brings me to my final point, which is my discovering new energy and new direction. And I don't know how many of you have been on the BIA before. Anyone been on the BIA before? Confess, you've been on the BIA before.
Sorry, absolutely.
When you were much younger. But the strategic action plan is extremely important and still very, very valid. Like you can make use of that strategic action plan, and I'll be sending you each a copy of it so that you can see. But the critical thing for me tonight is to make a very important point. I've had a very excellent discussion with a woman called Kay Matthews. Yes, ma'am.
Just a reminder, there's just a couple minutes left.
That's good because I'm on my final.
Thank you.
And when there were many new members on the 2014 BIA board, and with many new members on the 2024 typo there, BIA Board, this appears to be an ideal opportunity to invite Kay Matthews, and she would very much like to come. Dana will remember that the town brought Kay Matthews here a few years ago as well. She's the executive director of the Ontario BIA Association. And I'm going to just read this. She is aware that at the moment, the procedural bylaw that you are living by is the same as for the town of Prescott. In other words, you have to have a committee of the whole and you have to do all the same things in your procedures. And it doesn't have to be that way. The increased housing in the downtown, creating a heritage downtown, building on the assets and challenges we have inherited from the past to build an even more outstanding historic downtown Prescott on the mighty St. Lawrence. And so my recommendation to you very strongly is that we invite, or you invite, Kay Matthews to come and do the same that she did for us in years gone by. And the final point is something that made me very, very happy. And that's an article that was in the Ottawa Citizen called All Hands on Deck. And there they are in the large city of Ottawa, 1 million plus people. And what they are doing is they're concerned about rebuilding their downtown. And one of the main points that she's making in this excellent article is that everything is connected to everything else. And if all of the various groups are not working together, collaborating, communicating, then we do have a problem. I've also brought along the historic Prescott waterfront about the site. There is a site which is exactly right immediately adjacent to Thunder Letters patent. It can only be used for a historic heritage hotel. So I guess my time is up. And I thank you for giving me that time.
Thank you, Sandra.
It's very, very important because you've got new people here and they need to be able to operate from the appropriate rules of procedure, because otherwise it makes it very difficult.
Okay. Well, thank you for your time and effort for the presentation. I'm sure we'll take away, since you have a written PowerPoint and whatever the other material you're going to forward to us, we'll take it away and unpack it and evaluate it at a later date. And again, thank you for your contributions tonight.
I'll just leave a few of these with Justin. Am I allowed to walk close to you? Hand it from a distance. So.
Okay, we're going to move along to number 5, minutes of the previous meeting. The recommendation is that the minutes dated May 14th, 2024 be accepted as presented. Can I have a mover? Charity, and a seconder? Jeannie, all in favor? Carried. Next up is the financial report. Nicole sent her regrets for tonight. So Justin will pull up the financial report for us.
I'll just quickly go through. The only changes from last time were the addition of the Shakespeare program allocation, which is purchased, I believe it was a quarter-page ad in there, half-page ad. And the public art project allocation, which was $2,000 from this year, and the previous allocation from 2023 as well. So that was a total of $3,000 going to that. So you can see from what was set prior to the year, there's still the fall and Christmas promotion budgets there, which could be reallocated, some sponsorship funding, and space in the physical improvements budget.
Are there any questions with the financial report? No. So can the recommendation is that the financial report be accepted as presented. Can I have a mover? Charity, and a seconder. Jeannie, all in favor? Motion carried. Item number 7, chair updates. I thought there was a really neat comment on Facebook. It just kind of shows how far we've come. So Justin, was Town of Prescott Councillor, explored Prescott Farmers and Crafters Market and Prescott pop-ups on a late morning stroll, picking up hot sauce in 3 distinct flavors, freeze-dried candy, a delicious pizza paired with a flight of cider and beer, and even some surf and turf for dinner. And what a great, example of how far we're come, and we still have a lot more to go. I was in Fredericton on Thursday and I attended a night market there. There were 130 vendors.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was quite a sight, like every kind of food you could imagine. And the neat part about it is that all of the community contributed. So the police were represented, the library, the town, everybody got together, and it was just a really cool thing to see. So that can be our vision.
Yeah.
To sometime look forward to something like that. And just a congratulations. We had some anniversaries celebrated on the weekend. Populari's, Quality Creation, and Uman's Fishing and Tackle. That's all I have to say. Number 8, staff update. Justin, Eastern Ontario Firefighters Games and the Prescott Trolley update.
So these two things are related, so there'll be a few slides here that jump back and forth, but I was going to take you through the upcoming weekend. So the firefighters games themselves, they'll be running on June 14th and 15th. The games are on the 15th. But on June 14th, the competitors and the families arrive. There'll be 65 campers set up to the east of the pop-up site. So those will be trailers coming in for the weekend with the competitors. The firefighters convention and meeting is at the Leo on Friday evening, and during that time, the town's hosting a companion tour. So that's a group of the spouses and partners of the competitors. We'll be getting on the Kingston Trolley Tour trolley and doing the first tour of Prescott. So that tour will include stops in a number of local places. The plan is that they'll depart from, check and see if I have this in a future slide. I don't believe so. They'll be departing from Fort Wellington, moving down to at Fort Wellington. They will be, oh yeah, I do have it in the future slide. Sorry, so just go through this one first. Include stops at local businesses and the tour concluding at the pop-ups for live music and dinner. So at the pop-ups that night, we'll have the welcome night celebration. So the pop-ups will be open all night long. The vendors will be staying open until at least 9 o'clock. Food vendors open later. There'll be a night market at the pop-up, at the pop-ups. A number of the farmers market vendors, as well as some others, are going to come out for the evening. Set up down there along the new trails, as well as a couple sort of interesting experiential vendors. There is what would you call that? A steel forger will be down there for the entire weekend, and he'll be there on Friday night. From 7 to 10, Cajon and the Hollow Bodies will be down there. They're great. And there's a number of specials all weekend long, but also Friday night in the downtown. So the companion night tour, this is the spouses and partners of some of the participants. They'll be starting out at Fort Wellington. There'll be a little event catered by Little Barcelona in the boat room at Fort Wellington. From there, they'll be headed to they'll travel along King Street down to the Museum and Visitor Center, where they'll stop and get a little bit of history. And from there, head to Once at 426, where they'll have a sip and shop in there. Head to Catarina's for brownies and have a look at the beach in Centennial Park. They'll go back to Your Family Dollar to sample some of the drink mixes and food mixes that they have in store there. And then travel down Churchill, then back down Boundary to the pop-ups for the conclusion of the concert and dinner and shopping down there at the pop-ups. During the tour, both that companion nights tour and the public tours on the weekend, there's been a script developed that includes, say, for example, some historical information as you're traveling through, information about businesses, the specials that are going on, the sponsors that have sponsored the event over the course of the weekend, and just some information both for locals and visitors that hop on and off over the weekend. So the games themselves, they'll be held at the Leo on June 15th from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. In the morning, there are the dry competitions, and in the afternoon, the wet competitions. I'm not entirely clear with what what those mean, but it seems that the wet competitions are the exciting ones. So I'm not sure that they seem to be excited about those. At 7 p.m., all the firefighters and the departments that are here will have a parade starting down by the tennis courts in Centennial Park and heading down King Street and back up to the Leo for their evening concert and celebration, which is Tinted Wisdom and Helian Ore at the Leo from 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. And they are selling tickets, which you can get through the fire department for $25 each. There's still tickets available, and there's a cash bar at the event. So the trolley and the public tours. So on June 15th and 16th, that Prescott trolley will be open to the public, and it'll run from noon until 4 p.m. every day. It'll essentially do a loop of Prescott. There'll be stops throughout. The stops will be Fort Wellington, the pop-ups, museum, King and George, once at 426, King and St. Lawrence, Prescott Center Drive, and the River Route stop on Churchill. So that's between Giant Tiger and Your Family Dollar and Nick's Plaza. As I said, the trolley script will highlight Prescott history and businesses, programs, growth, investment, and numerous businesses will be offering specials throughout the weekend. So there are sales at a number of stores, there are specials at the restaurants. Subway, for example, is doing $9.99 firefighter footlongs all weekend. You can walk in and get a footlong. And I do want to mention the amount of sponsorship that was received from local and area businesses for the trolley. The response has been quite overwhelming. We have 7 sponsors for the stops around Prescott. So each one of the largest sponsors are sponsoring one of the stops through there, as well as the larger trolley sponsors and supporters. It has really been great, and we deeply appreciate that. And that's the conclusion of the games and the trolley.
That sounds fantastic, for sure. Does anyone have any questions for Justin?
Where, other than remembering the kind of schedule, where else could I quick reference so that I'm sharing the times and stuff for the different times on the trolleys? So 12 to 4 all weekend long is the public, and then the other is just the special
On Friday.
on the Friday. So 12 to 4 all weekend. Okay.
What time?
Basically answer my question.
Friday night, I suppose.
So I believe that's going to be 6:15 to 6:45.
Anyone else? No? Next up, Riverwalk Thursdays update.
So the Riverwalk Thursdays that we discussed at the last meeting will be starting on June 27th. We have Lyric Rogers is going to come down to the clock tower stage for that first night to be the entertainment. I sent in a whole series of upcoming special markets to vendors, and we have a number that are interested in doing night markets at the clock tower as part of those Thursdays. So I believe there'll be at least 5 or 6 each week, and they will line up basically along King Street so that you are, walking along there, not leaving, staying sort of in that direction and going through those vendors as you're going through downtown. I'll be approaching the businesses in the next week to look into doing some in-store activities and promotions each week. So this would be the idea that if 1 or 2 businesses had Something a little different, like the sip and shop, for example, that will be going on this Friday night at once at 4:26. If one or two did something like that each week, then that's a little bit of an extra incentive to have people come downtown on those Thursdays.
Thanks, Justin. Are you doing the Canada Day update too?
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
With the Canada Day update, that's of course coming up soon too. Just a basic overview of what's going to be on that day. There's a flag raising at Fort Wellington with cupcakes at 11 a.m. So there'll be some speeches from the mayor and from folks at the fort. "O Canada" will be sung, and the big flag at the fort will be raised, and the largest cannon they have will be fired. So it'll be a little bit of an event down there, and then sort of down towards the pop-ups, there'll be a special market again at the pop-ups. Family events such as games and activities will be down in the pavilion area. Canine Water Sports Canada will be at the area just adjacent to the east of the pop-ups for the weekend. So they'll be there Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So they'll be there on Canada Day. There'll be some entertainment at the pop-ups. Dan Molson will be there from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. and Prescott Dollars and Freezies and some things like similar to last year, the Canada Day phone crowns will be distributed down there. Council members will be down there to help distribute those things. And of course, at dark, the fireworks will be down at the Fort Wellington area.
Wow. Sounds fantastic again. It's all great. Dana, did you want to give an update on the downtown business and development?
Sure. So just take you through some recent openings and celebrations. As you already mentioned, Tracy, we had celebrated the boutique, I'm getting ahead of myself, Quality Creations. The boutique thrift has celebrated their soft opening. We're very excited. Things are going very well for them. She's working on getting some new signage installed. That was one of our recent CIP program recipients, so we were excited to support that project. Learn to ABA is still working on some interior upgrades to get the space ready for their business. And we had Prescott Chiropractic celebrate their 32nd anniversary on May 28th. That is a huge milestone. And of course, Quality Creations, we had their 5th anniversary this past weekend. And then we had Katarina's Coffee Shop celebrated their 4th anniversary under new ownership on June 5th. So that's 4 years since Nicole Hudson took over that operation with great success. And then Uman's Fishing Tackle celebrated their 1st this past Saturday, and another 32nd anniversary, Hometown Heating, on June 9th. So lots of exciting anniversaries happening. And a few more upcoming. We have Laurel and Lace will be celebrating their 1st anniversary on June 13th. Riverwalk Massage Therapy is celebrating their 5th anniversary on June 14th. And Old Magic celebrates their 7th on the 15th. And then we have Dollarama with their 1st year anniversary on June 23rd. Curls and Cuts, July 3rd. My goodness, Justin, you found some I didn't even know that we had coming up. Glitz Spa, Wing House, Water Girl Co. And we're taking a bit of a different approach with some anniversaries. Just as you'll see, there are so many, and we're trying to really recognize these businesses a lot more that won't always have a big fanfare, public event associated with it. But the mayor and members of council are going to be going out to visit businesses when they're celebrating some anniversaries and present them with certificates. So you'll watch our social media and you'll see a lot of these featured over the next few weeks. Mm-hmm. And then we have upcoming events. Of course, Justin did a great job of covering that event, and a lot of credit I do want to give to Justin for all of the work that he's put into the organization of this. There's so many aspects that are being pulled together for this weekend, and I'm really excited especially about the trolley tour and the script that he's developed for this. It is well worth getting on this trolley. Even if you're a local resident, your eyes are going to be open to a whole new community and tidbits, information, attractions, historic information that you've probably never known. And I would encourage you to rediscover your own community this weekend. I'm certainly going to take an opportunity to do it. It's an exciting thing, and we certainly want to see that trolley full for every trip through town. And then, of course, Canine Water Sports and Canada Day coming up. And then a couple weeks after Canada Day, we're welcoming Poutine Feast back. That'll be July 18th to 21st. So we'll have a bunch of poutine trucks coming down, and you can go down and sample a bunch of offerings. And we're also exploring some opportunities to involve the local restaurants to try and get maybe a local poutine competition happening for a few weeks leading up to that event, and really try and integrate the local restaurants as much as we can too. And then just throwing something out there, we're just kind of discussing very preliminary ideas, hope to chat about this at our first events and marketing committee meeting. Maybe looking at a downtown Prescott event for the Civic Weekend, something like a main King Street closure involving some vendors, some entertainment, something a little bit more substantial that we could look at planning for that weekend, maybe even just a Saturday, starting, relatively small for a few hours, but we really want to do something in the downtown core this summer for an event. So yeah, stay tuned and maybe put your thinking caps on and start brainstorming ideas for our next meeting. And that's it for me. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Justin. Sounds like you've been very busy. Okay, agenda item number 9. So we were going to discuss the associate member package tonight, but we're going to defer it. Justin's had his hand full. So B, summer activities, summer passport. So we have a recommendation that the board allocate funds to contribute to Prescott's summer passport program for 2024. Could I have a mover for discussion? Charity, and a seconder? Jeannie? All yours, Justin.
All right. So I think a number of you will recall the summer passport from 2022. Town did a similar program then, July and August, launched it on Canada Day, ran through the end of August. The general idea is that people can pick up passports, they can go to different businesses and attractions. If they purchase something there, they can get a stamp. We have Town of Prescott stamps the businesses get to stamp these passports. And when they complete it, when they get the requisite number of stamps, they can take it to the Museum and Visitor Center or other different locations and drop them off. And then in 2022, what we did was have smaller weekly draws, which had, a t-shirt and a hat of all the completed passports from that week. And then at the end of August, we took all the passports that have been completed throughout the year and drew a grand prize draw. I believe in 2022, that grand prize draw was a swag bag with clothing and different materials in it, as well as 500 Prescott dollars was the end of the year. And one thing in 2022 that I remember distinctly were the number of people who just went wild, wanting to go around completing as many passports as they could. They would pick them up, they would go around, you'd see the same people, not the same people necessarily, but you people who would complete 1, 2, 3, 4 passports over the course of the summer and bring them into the museum and we're going around. And I know talking to a lot of people, they had just a lot of people coming in, had the passports with them. That summer, I believe at the end of it, we had so many that we had a very difficult time getting them all into the prize bin or the drawing bin to actually make the draw. Tracy made the draw at the end of the summer. So it's something that I think gets people excited. I know handing them out at that summer would have been the farmer's market to a lot of visitors. Then there were people that took them and then immediately walked across the street to other places to get stamps, to go around, go to multiple places, spend a little extra time here. So I think it is something that gets people excited, gets people going multiple places, spending a little more time both downtown and throughout Prescott. The passport would be the entirety of Prescott, so it's It's a joint venture and, but the BIA in 2022 did contribute to that final Prescott dollar grant prize amount, so it could be something that you wanted to consider doing this year.
Thank you, Justin. Could I ask you just to pull up the financial statement for a sec? Because I think we still have some money left too for the summer.
So in the summer promotions line, you still found $200 there. Okay.
So, what's everybody think?
I definitely remember participating in the program. I agree. I think making a game out of supporting each other works for all ages. I would love to see it go again. And I found a small little stack I didn't know left over. And so if they're exactly the same, I'm ready to go. Yeah, I definitely think we should. And just a thought, I would be interested, and maybe some of the businesses do the grand prize, but if we could get enough of us talked into making a donation as a business, the weekly ones or bi-weekly or however many we could get would be a fun addition, because even more prizes is even more reason to play.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, so maybe if myself and whomever would volunteer to ask around a little or just ask around a little to see who else would support. Yeah, the more prizes would really get people maybe wanting to play.
Anybody else like to comment?
I enjoyed doing it. It's like people were surprised to find out we were doing this, especially if they were more out of towners. Well, I can't do them all. I said, you'd be amazed how quick you can actually get your stamps. You're here for the day or the weekend.
Yeah.
Go play tourist. Enjoy those locations. And I had a lot of people coming in, grabbing the extra passports and everything. It was fun.
Yeah, and it's funny, like Justin said, how many people enjoy participating.
Yep,
as-
regulars like town folk
Yeah.
and then the visitors from out of town. And
Yep, because in Fredericton, they had one last week, and it was, you had to visit 8 breweries. And then you got a t-shirt. But there were people excited in doing it, like they really wanted to participate, so I think it's a great idea. So the next thing we have to come up with is a number. How much do we want to put towards?
I don't remember what we did before, if the whole 500 was from us, but maybe if we see that we have 200, would that be
So we still have 200 left for the summer, and then even with the digital marketing, we have some monies there too.
And correct me if I'm wrong, did we not issue weekly smaller prizes? Like it wasn't just the 500, I think the total.
yeah, we had, I think, a weekly
We definitely had a
$50.
monthly draw. I can't remember
Yeah.
if we included weekly dollars in those.
To I believe we did. I think we did like a $25 a week draw. I could be wrong. That may have been the first iteration that we did. Which would have
Oh, that
been
sounds right.
the spring passport program. I could be mistaking it with that one.
No, I think there was 25 with each of the summer passport weeks too.
No, I think it was closer to about $1,000. It was the total budget from last year.
Okay. So if it's town-wide, maybe we should be looking at contributing half of 1,000, or is it for the whole town?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah. What does everybody think about $500?
Mhm.
That good?
We're talking about the end prize, and what about the weekly ones?
So that would cover like half of the campaign, because we're thinking it would be about 1,000 once you factor in the weekly prizes and then the grand prizes.
We're talking Prescott dollars.
Yeah. So it would keep all the money.
Any expiry date on them?
No,
No.
never expire.
Okay.
We've done special ones for specific campaigns. For example, for Canada Day, we are actually going to stamp them with a maple leaf. And just, more for tracking purposes, and we would like to, we're encouraging people to spend those within 7 days of receipt. If there's exceptions can be made, certainly, but we're really trying to encourage people to get out there, spend them, ideally that weekend. A little bit of an extra incentive, but no, normally no expiry date.
Okay, so the updated recommendation is that the board allocate $500 contribution to Prescott's summer passport program. Can I have a mover? Jeannie, a seconder? Charity, all in favor? Motion carried. Item number 10, is there any new business from members? No. We have an upcoming committee meeting, working group meeting, June 18th at 5:30. And we're gonna have it at the town hall?
Yes, the museum's occupied. I didn't miss
Oh,
that.
okay.
Okay.
Okay, so it'll be at the town hall. Thank you, everyone, for coming out tonight. It sounds like we have a really exciting weekend ahead, so please do all you can to promote it on your own social media. And we hope to see everybody there, and we'll call for adjournment. The recommendation is that the meeting be adjourned to July 9th, 2024 at 5:30. Can I have a mover? Jeannie, and a seconder? Charity?